I'd like to call to order this formal session of the Northern Michigan University Board of Trustees. We are at this point on YouTube live streaming, and we have a quorum present, but we would like to have Secretary Andrew call the roll.
Trustee Fatante,
Here.
Trustee Hart,
Here.
Trustee Mahaney, Trustee Morgan,
Here.
Trustee Murray Brown,
Here.
Trustee Savoy,
Here.
Trustee Stepanen,
Here.
and Trustee Young.
Here.
Thank you, Secretary Andrew. We have 100% of our trustees present. We have Trustee Hart appearing via Zoom, and everyone else is here at the Northern Center. The first thing that I would like to do is to move a couple of things on the agenda. I would like to remove item E6 from the formals and add to the agenda item 11A, charter school reauthorizations for Walton Public School Academy and Burton Glen Public School Academy, because there will be some language that will need to be changed. The other thing I would like to do is to add to the agenda item number 13A, COVID vaccine discussion. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Support. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. With so many of us present, I don't believe that the roll call vote will be necessary. So I'm not going to call for a roll call. Is there anyone opposed to the amended agenda? Thank you. The motion passes. At this time, I would like to call on Provost Schuling regarding a moment of silence. This is agenda item 4.
Sadly, we lost 3 individuals from our university. I will be presenting 2 of them, and students, and Gavin Leach will be presenting our staff member that we recently lost. Alexis Nelson died on March 9th, 2021. Alexis was from Brethren, Michigan, and was a junior majoring in communication studies. Alexis was a veteran of the U.S. Army, where she worked in intelligence. The second student we lost was Sandra Gibbons, who was born in Detroit but raised in the Upper Peninsula. She earned her associate's degree at Ferris State University and came to Northern last semester as an info assurance cyber defense major. Gavin?
A staff member we lost, Laura Gannon, was a senior secretary in the NMU Foundation. She passed away peacefully at her home on February 1st, 2021, following a battle with cancer. After high school, Laura enrolled at NMU, graduated in 1987 with a degree in office administration. Following graduation, she began her 27-year career at Marquette General Hospital and Payroll Department before she joined the NMU Foundation in 2017. Laura was an epitome of a team player. She was positive, caring, and hardworking. She took tremendous pride in being part of the campus community and was passionate about the work of the foundation, especially the support it provides to students. Those who are fortunate enough to work with Laura will always remember Laura's welcoming smile, her faith-filled heart, and her sincere concern for everyone. Laura leaves behind her husband, Dan, 2 sons, Noah and Adam, and she's dearly missed by her family, friends, and colleagues. Please recognize a moment of silence in memory of Laura, Sandra, and Alexis. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Andrew, do we have any individuals who have requested to address the board?
We do. We have 3. I will call them up in the order that we received of their request. First up is Dr. Dwight Brady.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts on behalf of the incredibly talented and dedicated people that make up the membership of the NMU AAUP. Well, as all of you know, we are in a contract year for the second time in as many years, and there is a sizable gap between what the faculty would like and what is presently being offered. But I'm not here to negotiate this morning or even talk about that gap, but about the common ground that we have. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that you as board members and members of the administration, the faculty and the staff all want is to make this university the best that it can possibly be. And at the core of any really good university are faculty members teaching and conducting research and students learning and benefiting from those endeavors. So given that a university is only as good as the faculty in its classrooms, it follows logically that we must remain competitive with our peers. The compensation that we offer today will attract the next generation of faculty members who will potentially serve for around 30 years. And that's a significant commitment, and we need to get it right. And our future students and their parents are counting on all of us to get it right. Like you, we want faculty members who will boldly innovate, not just timidly accept the status quo. We all want faculty members who will attract students through high caliber and distinctive academic programs. And as the president of the faculty union, I'm sure it comes as no surprise that I believe we cannot achieve our greatest success when our faculty rank next to dead last in total compensation among the 11 Michigan public universities that report compensation data. I think a sign that a faculty member made for one of our recent rallies that you might have heard something about sums it up best. How can we recruit top talent with below average pay? How can we recruit top talent with below average pay? So with that in mind, it is time to be bold. It is time to compete, and it is time to secure the future of Northern Michigan University. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brady.
Next, we have Dr. Alexander Wilson, who is participating virtually.
Hello, as mentioned, I am Alexander Wilson. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry. I teach the capstone course for the Medicinal Plant Chemistry program. In this program, students carry out a research project in which they analyze plant products using cutting-edge instrumentation. Many students are coming to Northern for this specific program. Many of these students will bring with them their out-of-state tuition dollars. Student enrollment for this program exceeds our current capacities due to unanticipated rapid growth. We do not have the facilities, faculty, and staff to adequately meet the needs of these students. With respect to facilities, I'm aware there is a 5-year facilities master plan that mentions a life sciences research center. However, this is not needed in some amorphous 5-year period. This is needed immediately, as soon as this fall semester. In addition, we need additional teaching lab space, additional instrumentation, and additional greenhouse space. We can't have this come at the expense of other departments. We barely have enough space for the fall, and facilities will be wholly inadequate for winter 2022 without dramatic negative changes to the program. With respect to the faculty, we frankly have too few faculty to teach our current courses, which are necessary to meet the needs for on-time student graduation that are currently on offer for fall 2021. We've requested from our department in our staffing plan additional enhancement positions, renewal of current term contracts, and replacements for retiring faculty. These requests need to be honored and met with fair pay. With respect to staff, we've already had 2 staff searches for a staff person to maintain instrument facilities. However, these have failed, likely because this is a highly skilled position and the offered compensation is below market rate. Successful recruitment in all positions requires competitive compensation. While the initial investments in this program have been substantial, the program has already repaid these in full and is generating an estimated revenue of about $2 million annually. Our students are taught in their business courses here at Northern that the most important thing you do with a new business is to reinvest profits in a successful enterprise. It's time to enhance our facilities, faculty, and staff, and to support the students in this burgeoning enterprise. It's time to reinvest in the medicinal plant chemistry program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson.
Okay, next is Dr. Brandon Canfield, also participating virtually.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me? Okay, good morning all, and thank you for another opportunity to address this body. Today, I want to talk to you about some specific faculty salary issues, and this is meant to be strictly informational. I'm confident that you are kept fully updated on the big picture and the bottom line here at NMU. And this is intended just to highlight some problems down in the details, which you may not be aware of. And I'm going to focus specifically on the chemistry department, my home department. There's not enough time to go into the why of these problems, but I want to at least show you the what. So between 2013 and 2020, the salaries of full-time assistant professors across all disciplines increased 18.9% on average nationally. I'm very happy to report that at Northern, we kept up with this same pace. However, because that is an average, some areas are necessarily above and some, as it happens, are quite below. So in the chemistry department, for example, the initial salary for a full-time assistant professor increased only 1.7% in this same time period. That is tenfold less than the average rate of increase. You might wonder why this duration was selected, 2013 to 2020. It turns out that I was the new assistant professor hired in 2013 with an initial salary of $56,000. If the chemistry salaries had stayed on pace with the NMU average of 18.9%, that would have increased to $66,584 in 2020. In fact, the national average for new chemistry assistant professors in 2020 was $71,035. The actual starting salary for a new chemistry assistant professor at NMU in 2020 was $56,951. That's literally a three-figure increase from 7 years ago. And just to put that into context, full-time minimum wage workers entering the Michigan workforce in 2020 saw nearly 5 times that increase over their 2013 counterparts. This has absolutely affected our ability to attract and hire new faculty members, something which has been a huge issue in the chemistry department, which has been the fastest growing department on campus during the past 3 years. In addition to the time and money spent on these failed searches, we continue to struggle to adequately staff courses, and students are having trouble getting into the classes they need to graduate, as we just heard from Dr. Wilson. This issue of extreme deviation from the national norm in initial salary is not common at NMU, not common by any means, but it is definitely not unique to chemistry. Here's a list of some other departments with similar situations. The solution to this problem is a market adjustment. This is a tool which has been successfully used at NMU in the past and one which I encourage you to take another close look at now. And I'm happy to make this and any other information I have available to you or to answer any questions you may have now or at any other time. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Canfield. At this time, we are on agenda item 6, the introduction of commencement speakers. I would like to call on Vice President Schuling to introduce the speakers.
Chair Seaboy, members of the Board of Trustees, and President Erickson. One of the special components of tomorrow's graduation ceremonies is the student speaker's commencement address. I'm pleased to introduce the student who was selected to address the graduates tomorrow, Jalen Sims. Please join me, Jalen. Jalen came to NMU in the fall of 2017 from Waterford, Michigan. He is a graphic design major. Jalen is a first-generation college student. He was accepted into the McNair Scholars Program, and his research centered on urban architecture integrated with nature and sustainability under the direction of Professor Keith Ellis. He presented this research at the 3-minute thesis competition this semester and was the People's Choice Award winner. Jalen had an impact on the campus as a member of the orientation staff, director of the Student Art Gallery, and as outreach director for the Eco Reps. He completed the Student Leader Fellowship Program, and his community service internship was as a graphic designer for Friends of the Ordog Bot Eco organization. This is the group that is working to revive the old ore dock in Marquette Harbor and making it into a usable space. Jalen has an entrepreneurial spirit, and this is evidenced by the start of his own clothing company when he was in high school, which is still going strong. He plans to stay in Marquette, lucky us, after graduation and become a farmer. He will start with a hydroponic garden and chicken coop at the house he has purchased and will be attending Colorado State University's Integrated Resource Management Program to learn how to become a farmer and run an agricultural business. The theme of his speech is the solid foundation Northern and the Marquette community have provided for our graduates. Chair Seaboy, I believe you have a presentation to make.
I do. President Erickson, will you join me? We have a plaque for you. Congratulations, Jalen. We look forward to having you in Marquette, and if you'd like, we can hold it up. President Erickson, would you please announce the other speaker?
As you know, Northern Michigan University will hold virtual commencement tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. First, where nearly 900 graduates will be. My apologies. It's like saying you're on mute. As you know, Northern Michigan University will honor 900 graduates tomorrow for commencement. We will be broadcasting it via internet and on WNMU TV. And our commencement speaker is Brian Terrell Clark, the Broadway star who played George Washington in Hamilton. I'm very excited to have Mr. Clark do this. And while our greatest desire is to celebrate graduation with each of our students and their families, we're still dealing with the limitations, of course, of the safety protocols from the Michigan Department of Health. And so while we share the disappointment, and I know Mr. Clark does as well, he would love to be here in person, the fact that we're still able to celebrate. Now, actually, I'm really looking forward to that celebration. Mr. Clark is an accomplished actor, singer, songwriter. Before appearing in Hamilton, he made his Broadway debut, playing the iconic role of Marvin Gaye in Motown, the musical, which received a 2014 Grammy Award nomination for Best Musical Theater Album. His TV credits include Fox's Empire, and he recently appeared in Ava DuVernay's highly acclaimed Netflix miniseries, When They See Us. Musically, Mr. Clark was co-writer on Mary J. Blige's song, Irreversible. And he has performed with such artists as Maxwell, Brandy, Neo, Anita Baker, and a personal favorite of mine, Michael Bublé. Mr. Clark is co-founder of Indefined, an initiative that inspires and teaches young people to use their voices to erase constrictive labels in our society. He is also a recipient of the 2018 Voice for Social Justice Award from Rutgers University. We are really pleased to have him tomorrow, and I very much look forward to his presentation.
Thank you, President Erickson. We are now on agenda item 7, the Board of Trustees Student Achievement Award recipients. We have a slideshow that will project the students. The first student that we are honoring is Sarah Kendall, outstanding graduating senior. She's a management major with a hospitality service management minor. Next, we have Elizabeth Mansfield, outstanding graduating senior. She's a sports science pre-occupational therapy major and a hardened scholar in the honors program. Our next student is Lauren Rotundo, outstanding student of any class. She is a public relations major with an art and design minor. Our next student is Logan Hartz, outstanding non-traditional student. He is a history major with a political science minor. And our final student is Andrea Fox, outstanding global campus student. She is a Master of Public Administration major. Congratulations to all of them. Thank you. At this time, I would invite Dr. Russ Minyagi to provide us with a moment of history. Dr. Minyagi,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. This morning, I'd like to focus on an interesting topic titled Getting a Meal on Campus. On the contemporary campus, food is readily available to students, staff, and visitors. But was this always the case? No. The earliest food service facility on campus was located in the private dorm located on the site of St. Michael Church parking lot. It was operated by John Longyear and Fred Eyre from 1900 to 1917. Interestingly, the first president, Dwight Waldo, and his family, wife Minnie and 2 children, lived in the dorm where they took their meals with students until 1904, when Waldo was made president of Western Michigan Normal School. After that time, until the opening of Cary Hall in 1948, students resided in rented rooms in homes around Marquette and took their meals there or at special dining facilities. There were a few restaurants like the College Inn located in the vicinity of Northern. In the early years, receptions and banquets were held in local hotels. In 1910, Margaret Butchley was hired in the Department of Domestic Science. She began to use the department and to provide the institution with on-campus banquets. With the completion of K Hall in 1915, its foyer allowed these banquets to be held there. When student faculty food events were held on campus, the main food on the menu was pasties and an apple as dessert. These meals were held in the gym. Retirement banquets were usually included a table filled with a variety of casseroles. With the end of World War II, President Henry Tape saw that the enrollment would suddenly increase due to the GI Bill for veterans to attend college, and additional dining facilities would be needed. In early 1946, he negotiated with the US Army to obtain a temporary dining structure. Everyone was, it's amazing, they were absolutely thrilled when this facility opened. The cafeteria was used for about a year, 1947 to 48, when the Lee Cary Hall complex opened and dining facilities expanded. The Lee Hall cafeteria opened in late 1948, located in the Union Building, and served female students housed in Cary Hall. When Spooner Dorm opened in the mid-1950s, male students had their adjoining dining room, where they took their meals dressed in jackets, but separated from the women. The kitchen was the point of separation. When the University Center opened in 1960, it had resident hall dining facilities and the cafeteria known as the Wildcat Den on the first floor. Its characteristic feature was wooden booths which had names carved into them. With the eastern extension of the UC in 1964, the charcoal room was open, which originally served grilled food. I would just add that you are sitting at about where the charcoal room was. It became a favorite dining room for faculty, staff, and administrators. And all of these facilities continued to operate until the University Center was renovated in the early 1990s. And it was decided to consolidate all the food service operations. The charcoal room and the Wildcat Den were closed. At this time, the Wildcat Den food court was created. With its renovation, Howard Schultz, NMU alumnus, allowed Northern to be the only university in the United States to have a Starbucks outlet. That has obviously changed since then. It is interesting to note that when Starbucks expanded to Hardin Hall, students complained that they would have to pay $3 for a cup of coffee. How things have changed, as Starbucks in Jamrich Hall is extremely popular with students who pay as much more than $3 for a cup of Java. Before the last development of dining facilities into the woods and in the University Center, various dorm complexes had their own dining facilities. That could be a whole story unto itself. Every effort was made to make these facilities appetizing to students who had become used to better dining than students had in the past. They wanted little more than a pasty and an apple. Over the years, the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program developed on the campus, having its origins back in 1910. Students enrolled in the Hospitality Management Program are educated in the operating functions and supervision of a variety of industries such as restaurants, catering, event planning, hotels, casinos, and cruises. Advanced management skills are a highlight of the program and are learned through hands-on experience, and they operate Culinary Cafe and Chez Nous, the latter a high-end restaurant in Jacobetti Hall. So over the last 122 years, getting a meal on campus or developing a career around food has steadily improved to the state it has reached today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Miyagi. And I think we all appreciate very much the food that we get here on Northern's campus. It's been terrific. Thank you. So next, I would like to invite ASNMU President Emma Drever and President-elect Bethany Beavers to present their report.
Hi, I'm Emma Drever. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a senior studying English and Spanish. I was the ASNMU president during the 2020-2021 school year.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I also use she, her pronouns, and I am the president starting now until next April.
That's us. All right, so I'll be talking to you today about the winter 21 semester in review. If you remember, I've been talking to y'all all year, and I've framed my updates under the pillars which I won my election, which were advocacy, accountability, and action. So this semester for advocacy, we kind of took on two big efforts under civic engagement and mental health. For civic engagement, you'll remember from the fall with the election year, a huge part of ASNMU efforts was working on providing election resources to students, helping them register and following through voting. For the effort of this committee, we received a nationally recognized designation as a voter-friendly campus. Outside of the election season, ASNMU has maintained its culture of civic engagement by passing 2 resolutions that engage with the state government. The first resolution was a resolution to advance the vote, which supports Secretary of State Benson's call for election reform to destroy voting obstacles statewide. The second was a resolution to confirm university leadership, which asked the state senate to confirm board of trustees members based on merit and ability to represent student interest. This resolution culminated in a meeting with President Erickson where we discussed our visions for university leadership. And we also spoke with Senator McBroom on the importance of the student voice. And due to Jason Morgan's confirmation on the board, it worked. We also advocated for the mental health needs of our students amid the trauma and exhaustion of the pandemic. This advocacy took place in form of the university recess proposal, which called for 2 distinct days of university closure in order to allow everyone on campus to take a breath and catch up with themselves. We recognize that a single day is insufficient to address mental health needs, but we felt it was a better effort than none at all. The university awarded us with a one-day academic recess. In terms of accountability, accountability is kind of like our networking, how we work with other people on campus to hold ourselves accountable to do the mission that we're set out to do. Members of the student government this semester met with the inaugural director of the CSU Center in order to focus group the 21st Century Skills Initiative, which will help our students more easily market their degree knowledge and skills in a career interview or grad school setting. Trying to focus on how to market a degree in a digital world, how to talk about what you're learning and market it into future success. Alongside that idea of providing career readiness resources for students, ASNMU piloted the alumni switchboard platform before it is publicized to the whole student body to offer feedback on how the platform works and how it can best serve our students. This platform connects students with alumni to get resources, job help, networking in different areas that they're moving. And we're really excited to see this resource be available for our students. We gave a lot of positive feedback. ASNMU continues to develop its partnership with grad students on campus. It seems to be most effective if the two of us work together from our separate associations of students. As such, we've been offering counsel on developing bylaws for the Grad Student Association. This winter, we also participated in a virtual 1UP conference, which focused on best practices for virtual leadership. We talked about how to increase unity across the UP and encourage Tech and LSSU to support our resolution to confirm university leadership. This leadership development was invaluable and will no doubt help the next assembly in connection building and with the initiatives that they pursue. The last pillar is action. This is where our current projects take place and new ones are developed. This winter, I sat on the commencement committee to ensure that the graduating students' perspective was represented. The most important thing to graduating students was being recognized individually through the reading of their names. We also looked at ways to celebrate the graduates creatively without the possibility of an in-person commencement. In order to support the graduates further, members of ASNMU brought back the grad closet. This project usually loans a cap and gown to students demonstrating financial needs so that they can walk in commencement dressed. But without a ceremony, we adapted this project to open the closet several times throughout the month of April so that students could take pictures in a cap and gown for free. This program sustains itself via donation, and we look forward to its continued growth. We also created a table loaning policy so that student orgs could freely table to recruit, network, and fundraise outside on the quad in order to talk to students safely during the pandemic. We are able to support student life through this project by encouraging involvement and aiding in fellowship building and enjoying the weather. ASNMU also passed a grief absence policy with the goal of excusing absences without repercussion for students needing to travel out of town for needing to travel out of town for support and services following a death. ASNMU is exploring options to implement this policy to relieve a load on students with unforeseen circumstances. And then lastly, our career closet and period project returned fully this semester. We were kind of figuring out a development of COVID safe protocols last semester, and both have run the entire semester safely. We are proud to offer these programs to minimize financial burden on students needing professional clothing and period products.
Okay, so moving forward, some things that are really important to me that are included in this next academic year is healthcare advocacy, equitable policy, and continuing civic engagement work. As far as healthcare advocacy, it's really important to me that policy that supports students' mental health is supported. ASNMU has been strongly opposed to the lack of break. There was Wellness Day, but continuing to consider students' health needs when making policy decisions and calendar decisions is really important. I would also enjoy expanding and revising current mental health resources because they're in a short supply and relatively inaccessible, which isn't okay during a normal year, but especially during a pandemic year, it could use improvement. Another thing that falls under this category is the graduate students who do not feel like they have adequate healthcare resources, and advocating for them right now looks like organizing their bylaws, which is something that I've been helping on and collaborating on and will continue to do over the summer. We're hoping to have these finalized by the fall. Equitable policy, supporting policy that makes NMU inclusive is something that is really important to me because it makes student life better for many different types of students from all different backgrounds. But I think that this is super important to also carry into the Marquette community. I've been in contact with Bazile, NASA's president, in regards to getting a group together to write a resolution supporting revision of the Marquette Senior High School mascot. The plan is to send this to the President's Committee on Diversity in the fall to get it passed there. Yeah. And then as far as civic engagement goes, I'm excited to continue Emma's work with civic engagement, including charging a vote committee in the winter semester to encourage civic engagement and make it accessible for students on campus for the fall 2022 election. I'd like to ensure that the satellite office is reestablished and hosts skill builders during the winter semester regarding nonviolent political engagement and things like that. And I've also been in contact with a member of the Grand Valley State University Student Senate regarding lobbying for higher education funding at the state level, which is super cool to advocate for Northern students in a greater capacity. So I'm pretty excited for those things in the next academic year. And that is all I have. So
Thank you very much, Bethany and Emma. Does anyone have questions? Yes, Steve.
Thank you for your presentation, and look forward to working with you in your new roles, the leader of the group. What was the reaction to the Wellness Day? I mean, was it? I know we did one. Was it positive? Was it people generally thought this was a good idea, not enough, too much?
the student reaction. Well, I think students were relieved to have a day off. For many, they worked on that day because it was so last minute. So it didn't feel like a huge day off, but it was nice to not have class, just to kind of slow the burnout a little bit. But it definitely wasn't enough. A spring break is definitely needed.
Thank you.
And students felt the weight of not having one.
Thank you.
Jason?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say thank you all for your advocacy. I am very proud to be a former ASNMU president, as most folks know here. And I just want to say your voice certainly matters, both here on campus and in Lansing. I think our students are our best advocates for higher education funding and for support of our university that we all love. So I certainly thank you personally, but also just on behalf of the university, it is really amazing that we have strong student leaders who are passionate, who are just so great at presenting all of these great things that they're working on. And I just look forward to serving with you. Certainly being on this board with all of you as colleagues, administration, faculty, and staff, but students are always where my heart lies. And it's really great to meet you all, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Bethany, I want to welcome you, and we look forward to seeing you in the years to come here as you're presenting to us during the next semester as well. Emma, we will miss you. It has been wonderful to have you serving ASNMU. I thank you for your leadership and for your energy. It has been really wonderful. We have a gift on behalf of the Board of Trustees for you.
I'm not leaving, I'm staying for grad school, so you can't get rid of me.
It's a strange world where we can't shake hands anymore. But thank you both. Oh, was I supposed to stand for a photo? I'm sorry. Did you want a photo with Emma? Okay, thank you. Great. Well, President Erickson is up next because we're on agenda item 10. However, he has a little sidebar there that he wanted to handle. So
My apologies.
no problem. This is President Erickson's report at this time.
Thank you very much. I've been asked so many times how Northern has been so successful in such a crazy pandemic year. Our COVID numbers have been lower than I think almost any other institution. We've managed to be successful. Learning has continued. And really the success of that goes to the incredible work of our faculty, staff, and most certainly our students. You know, our faculty have taken on so many additional responsibilities, putting things together. You know, teaching both virtually and face-to-face is not for the faint of heart. I mean, I just did a couple of classes that way and I was completely exhausted after trying to do that. And so great credit goes to the faculty, staff, and of course the students, including the near 1,000 students that we're going to honor tomorrow during Saturday's commencement celebration. I do have to say that even though we are holding a virtual celebration, we're going to be doing that in the Dome tomorrow. And so very excited about that. But I'm even more excited to look forward to next year when we can have commencement ceremonies in person. And we will invite everyone from the graduating classes of 20 and 21 to come back to campus if they so desire to participate in a face-to-face celebration. There have been so many successes this year, and I would consume the rest of the day if I went through them all, but I do want to point out a couple. I want to point out that Junior Bazell Panic won the 2021 New Ventures Business Competition, which is a very prestigious, highly competitive thing. And his presentation in the Big Pitch competition, which was about market stocks and adorned with traditional indigenous designs. It was really an amazing thing and led to cash and prizes for the event totaling over $13,000. Jacob Lippert, who's a member of Northern's extraordinary Quiz Bowl team, finished second in individual scoring among 128 players at the Intercollegiate Championship Tournament. It's a remarkable accomplishment. I think we'll have to put him up as the next host for Jeopardy, given that. Just really, really amazing thing to see that happen. And I would point out that Jacob averaged 66 points per game, which the team advisor, Michael Joy, told me is roughly equivalent to scoring 33 points per game in a basketball game. That just gives you a sense of the magnitude of that. Also, I'd like to congratulate Nellie Cooper and Leslie Warren for being recognized by their professional organizations. Nellie, who's a professor of French and Russian, was named the 2021 recipient of the Dorothy Ludwig Excellence in Teaching Award. Certainly well-deserved, an extraordinary teacher. And during her 20 years at Northern, Nellie has reimagined our French program in really a variety of ways, including a redesign of all French courses to include academic service learning, which I just found really inspiring. Leslie Warren, who many of you know is Dean of the Library Instructional Support, was recently appointed chair of the American Library Association's Rural, Native, and Tribal Libraries of All Kinds Committee, and she will serve in that leadership role from July 1st to July 1st this year to June 30th of 2022. A wonderful honor. And last but not least in this area of recognition, our extraordinary faculty member out of the College of Business, Gary Brunswick. We want to congratulate him for being awarded the Sam M. Cahotis Professorship. This is a very prestigious honor and a well-deserved honor. Gary has been a marketing professor in Northern's College of Business for the past 30 years. In his role as Cahotis Professor of Business, he plans to work on ongoing and new research projects involving many students, which, as we know, is one of Gary's real hallmarks. The work that he does, he always involves students. They're an important part of it, and it's one of the reasons students come to Northern is because they have opportunities like like what Gary provides. And so really proud of him for becoming the endowed professor. A couple of national recognitions I just want to make sure you're aware of. Northern was ranked 36th among best bachelor's degree programs in environmental science in the country. This came from study.com, and the national ranking really highlighted the interdisciplinary approach that program in environmental study takes. We are also, by the same organization, ranked 24th among the nation's best bachelor's degree programs in organizational and applied workforce leadership. And 30th remember, we're talking all the programs in the country, our bachelor's degree program in entrepreneurship. Great things are happening out of those programs. And finally, just in those areas, Northern was one of just about 230 institutions across 37 states identified as voter-friendly campuses. Through an initiative when participating institutions were judged on their ability to plan, implement, and encourage students to register to vote. And I have to tell you, a lot of that credit goes directly to Emma. In athletics, can't get away without a few athletic comments. The big news, of course, was that our Wildcat volleyball team won the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Conference Tournament and a share of the GLIAC regular season North title. Actually, we should have won the whole thing. And the team posted a 15-2 overall record, ranked 18th in the country. Sadly, they did not hold the national tournament for Division II in volleyball this year. They did for Division I, but not for Division II. And I believe we would have had a great run. And things look so incredibly bright for the volleyball team. The large majority of players right now are, I don't know if we can even call them first-year freshmen, because the freshmen that make so much of this team up and sophomores, we don't count this year on their eligibility. So we expect to see them for many years to come. Coach Mike Lozier was named GLIAC Coach of the Year, and Jacqueline Smith was chosen as the GLIAC Freshman of the Year. So it was a wonderful accomplishment. I had the opportunity to chat with several of the players afterwards, and the thing I like best, they gave me a volleyball all signed. So I'm really excited about that. Point out that Greco-Roman wrestler, very excited about this, is a Northern 2020 entrepreneurship alumnus and graduate student, won the 77 kilogram weight class at the recent United States Olympic trials. So we will very much look forward to seeing him progress. And while he still needs to qualify in that weight class for the Olympic Games, we're very optimistic and look forward to him going through that process, and really rooting for him. And then finally, on the athletic things, I would be remiss if I didn't do a real shout out for Sten Feldheim, who recently announced his retirement after 34 years. A true loss for us, although in talking with Stan, he's going to step down as coach. But I suspect we'll see him as much around here helping out with the team and supporting the team in those efforts. And so get a chance to see Stan. He's obviously one of the truly premier coaches in the country, and he will be missed. But he's promised us that he'll still be engaged. Couple last quick things. We've launched our provost search. A little over a week ago, I announced the formation of a committee to conduct the search for a new provost and vice president of academic affairs when Dr. Schilling steps down early next January. Dean Carol Johnson from the College of Business will serve as the chair of the committee. It's a big committee. I think we have 25 members on the committee. Takes a lot of effort and work to serve on this committee for among the most important positions we have on our campus. And then lastly, and not least, is the fact that Northern successfully completed our mid-cycle assurance review for the Higher Learning Commission. We met all 18 core components with no required formal follow-up. This is a big deal. And a great deal of credit goes to the entire team for being able to work through that process and keep us focused on maintaining the accreditation that we do have. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Erickson? Thank you very much. We are now on agenda item 11, committee reports, and I would like to call on Trustee Mahaney to report regarding the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The meeting of the Finance Committee of the Board of Trustees of Northern Michigan University convened at 4:49 p.m. Thursday, April 29th, 2021 in the Northern Center, Ballroom 1, by myself, Robert E. Mahaney, Chair. Also present at the meeting were members of the committee, Board of Trustee members, and Finance and Administration Division staff. Although trustees were present at the meeting, only the committee members participated in the meeting. The committee accepted the following plan as written. The fiscal year 2021-22 Raymond Professional Services Plan regarding audit services. The committee recommended that the board approve the following, which are included in the board formals. Room and board rates for fiscal year 2022. Fiscal year 2021-22 continuing auxiliary operations budget. Fiscal year 2021-22 continuing housing and residence life budget. The fiscal year 2021-22 continuing general fund budget, the fiscal year 2021-22 continuing designated fund budget, and the major projects over $250,000. The meeting adjourned at 5:05 p.m. All of these recommendations are included in our formals that we will be voting on shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Mahaney. Next, I'd like to call on Trustee Hart to present to us the committee report from Academic Affairs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. An Academic Affairs Committee meeting of the Board of Trustees of Northern Michigan was held on April 29th, 2001 at 3:45 p.m. Committee members present were myself, the chair, Trustee Fatante, Trustee Sepinen, Chairperson Tammy Savoy, and Dr. Fritz Erickson. As we did have other trustees present that were not committee members, they did not participate. The committee reviewed informal reports and presentations on the Academic Senate, the charter school reauthorizations and dashboards, new programs, and deleted programs. The committee recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the following. After a motion duly made and seconded, the committee recommends to the Board of Trustees the reauthorization of Burton Glen Public Academy for a term which does not exceed 2 years. This does have an opportunity to add not more than 3 additional years upon satisfying contractual obligations as established by the CSO director, beginning on July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2023. If all criteria set forth in the contract are met, the contract will automatically extend for the additional 3 years. I, as the chair, move to amend the motion to include contingent upon revision of agreements to include language acceptable to NMU regarding the approval process of charter school board members. The amended motion was seconded and approved by the committee. After a motion duly made and seconded, the committee recommends to the Board of Trustees the reauthorization of Walton Public School Academy for a term of 5 years, commencing on July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2026. I also move to amend the motion to include contingent upon the revision of agreements to include language acceptable to NMU regarding the approval process of the charter school board members. The amended motion was seconded and approved by the committee. After a motion duly made and seconded, the committee recommends to the Board of Trustees approval of the following programs: Human Resource Management, Bachelor of Science degree; Sustainable Business and Enterprise Creation, Bachelor of Science degree; Clinical Molecular Diagnostics Graduate Certificate; and Associate of Arts degree in Theater Performance, Theater Tech and Design, and Dance. All new programs will be effective in fall of 2021. This motion is a part of the formal recommendations. After a motion duly made and seconded, the committee recommends to the Board of Trustees deletion of the following programs: the Office Information Assistant Associate degree, the Health Information Processing Associate's degree, and Office Assistant Certificate. All program deletions are effective summer of 2021. This motion is also a part of our formal recommendations. The meeting adjourned at 4:47 p.m.
Thank you very much, Trustee Hart. Next, I would like to call on Trustee and Vice Chair Young to present about the Extended Learning and Community Engagement Committee meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Extended Learning and Community Engagement Committee met April 29th, 2021 in Ballroom 1 here at the Northern Center. The meeting was convened at 3:18. Committee members present were myself as chair of the committee, Trustees Donna Murray Brown as a committee member, and then ex officio members present were the chair, Tammy Savoy, and Dr. Fritz Erickson as an ex officio member, and Dr. Steve Vandenhaven, who presented to the group. There were also several other members of the Board of Trustees were present, but only committee members participated in the discussion. The committee received a informational presentation on the following from Dr. Vandenhaven: extended learning, prior learning assessment, and the 60-year curriculum by Dr. Vandenhaven gave us that presentation. And then also he gave us information. It was informational only, and there was no action taken after the presentation. The meeting adjourned at 3:44 p.m.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the work of the standing committees. We have now agenda item 11A, charter school reauthorizations for Walton Public School Academy and Burton Glen Public School Academy. These have been removed from the formals because of the amended language that the committee chair described from the meeting. At this time, I would like to have a motion that the board can approve based on Trustee Hart's committee report. Trustee Hart, are you able to make that motion?
So moved.
We have a second from Trustee Sepinen. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you very much. We're now moving on to agenda item 12. This is committee appointments. So welcome back, Trustee Morgan. At this time, I would like to appoint Trustee Jason Morgan to the Extended Learning and Community Engagement Committee. That's a standing committee of this board, as well as to the Ad Hoc Policy Review Committee. And I wish we could have done this prior to the committee meeting yesterday for Extended Learning and Community Engagement so that you could have been more active. However, it's the chicken and egg thing. At this time, I would like to ask for this board's approval of those appointments. Could I have a motion?
I move to support the
Appointment.
pardon me?
Appointment.
Appointment, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And welcome, Jason. We're very glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is item 13. This is the action on the formal recommendations. There is no discussion permitted regarding the formal recommendations, which is why we had removed the item previously from that list. So could I have a motion for the approval of our formal recommendations? We have a second?
Support.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Our next agenda item is the added agenda item 13.5, COVID vaccine discussion. And I believe we may have a motion regarding this.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to speak to motion or guidance. I'm not sure what we're terming this, but yes, I'd like to speak to that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
First, I want to just say that appreciate all the discussion that's gone on this issue of how do we proceed with vaccinations. And each member of this board was very passionate about it. And I think that we've come to a place, hopefully, that makes sense to everybody on the board. And it's something that that we can all support. I think if you look back at our history in dealing with COVID, Fritz has indicated many times, and we've been a leader on this. We were out front early on testing, and we continued to lead with low positivity rates and protecting our students, and that's obviously very, very important. I think the basis of this is we really need to now look at that next level now that vaccines are out there. They're in ready supply. Access doesn't appear to be an issue as it was a few weeks ago. So I think the next step is how do we proceed with making sure we continue to provide that safe environment, not just for students, faculty, and staff, but for the community in which this university resides. I think we have a social obligation to protect not only the parties that are on campus here, but those that are in this community and live with the university. And so with that in mind, you know, and I do want to say one other thing on the testing. Former trustee Jim Haveman was pretty critical in getting us to that point of saying we should test all students. And it was hard, I think, for some of us, but we got there, and I think it was a very successful program. And I think this is the next step in that whole process. So what I would like to do is provide some guidance to the administration on what that proposal may look like. I think the first point would be, we would like to implement an incentive program for students, faculty, and staff to incentivize them to get vaccinated. This is not a requirement, it's incentive, but the incentive would be, I believe, and I think the board agrees, it should be in the area of $100. That if you get vaccinated, you are entitled to that $100 incentive. We think that an education process regarding this incentive should start probably no later than mid-June of 2021, so that we can make sure our students are aware of what we're asking of them when they come back to campus, and that vaccine is critical. I think our goal should be to reach herd immunity, and there's some debate as to what exactly that number might be. We heard from Dr. Kirkpatrick this morning, and it could be 70 to 80, 85%. I don't know what that number is. I'm a former lobbyist. I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea what it is. But I think if we should come up with a number that determines herd immunity, and if we reach that prior to school starting in late August, we've successfully completed this program, I think, and there's no need to do anything else. If we do not reach the herd immunity number, I think that those that come to campus that are not vaccinated should be required to be tested every 2 weeks and produce a negative test. But it would be an ongoing thing. Once we reach herd immunity, that testing would cease. So that 70% isn't once school starts, or 80%, whatever it is, it continues on. So once we get to that, we can move forward. So additionally, with this guidance, and there may be other board members that have some additional input, I would ask that the administration get back to us by June 1 with specifics that contain this guidance as to how we can successfully implement this program. And again, our goal here is to protect students, faculty, and staff in this community. And that's the only reason that this is offered. And I hope that the board will agree with these parameters. Thank you.
Trustee Sepinen,
Steve, I just want to make sure I understood. Did you also?
please use your microphone.
Again, yes, Steve, did you include in your comments in regards to incentive that staff would have incentives to?
Yes, that would have been my understanding that it would apply to students, faculty, and staff. So yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Murray Brown.
Yes, I'm wondering if Trustee Young, as well as others, would consider maybe just providing framework around it being an incentive and not necessarily the dollar amount, not to be prescriptive, to allow for just things that are known and unknown, just in case, but recognizing. So I think the incentive is fine, the date is fine, the goal around herd immunity is fine. And then also maybe providing, while we've added COVID-19 testing, maybe also looking for other measures of course correction that might make sense. I just want to make certain that we don't box ourselves in, but we allow for some flexibility based on the knowledge that we acquire along the way. So giving a little bit more flexibility, but also hard, fast rules around timeline and the ultimate outcome that we're looking to have, like the herd immunity percentage or whatever that is.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that would be, it would be, none of this is written in stone necessarily, particularly if we get to a point where they say, herd immunity is 90%. We need to have the flexibility. Our goal should be to reach that herd immunity number based on what the science is. So I purposely didn't put a percent in there, and I would leave that up to like I said, the experts, because I'm just a washed up old retired lobbyist. So, we have to have the experts decide that. In terms of the dollar amount, here was my thinking is that it needs to be enough to move people. And I know some universities are offering $5 and $10. To me, that's not enough. We need something that moves the needle. And I picked $100. I mean, it could be $200, maybe $3, but I think anything less than that makes it hard to move the needle.
It sounds to me as though we are talking about additional guidance that we are providing to administration as they develop a plan. Jason?
Thank you, Chair. I think that's the idea, is to provide some guidance. I believe administration probably has quite a few other ideas of ways to incentivize students to get the vaccine as well, and other measures that could be put into place to kind of further guide students, faculty, and staff to get the vaccine. I do think it's really important that we request a proposal from administration probably by June 1st, just thinking about how long it's going to take us to determine what percentage of our students are vaccinated, with them letting us know. And I also think about, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is quicker, but the other vaccines could be about a 6-week process before people are fully vaccinated. So if you back that out from when classes start in the fall, you really start getting into early August, towards the end of July, to make sure that people are in that pipeline soon enough to be fully vaccinated before they come back. So I think the timeline is of particular concern to me. I do think the incentive of $100 makes a lot of sense, but I don't necessarily have a strong preference. If there's a better way to do that as well, I think that makes a lot of sense. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Just
yes.
a few comments from my side. Sorry, I've got to chime in. I don't know if people look up at the screen. So thank you, Vice Chair Young. I think that the proposal is a way forward for us. Also to ensure that we're protecting not only our university community, but our community at large and in Marquette. I think that from an incentive perspective, you know, there's multiple avenues also through education, et cetera, that we can encourage as much as we can vaccinations and provide education around this for those that may not feel so comfortable. Obviously, it's very important, and I think Trustee Morgan was alluding to this too, that we take into account you know, religious, medical, potentially medical restrictions from that, potentially religious concerns from that. One other comment too, and I may just be saying in a different way what my colleague Trustee Murray Brown was saying, is that I want to be cautious that, you know, we'll consider the matter closed once we hit the herd immunity, because I think that it's going to be a fluid situation as we move forward. We could have variants that come out. So I want to just ensure that while we have a direction for the situation as we know it today, we're also open that things could change dramatically tomorrow from different fronts.
Thank you. Yes, Trustee Sepinen.
And I think what I hear as an indicator is and staff is hearing that we, the board, are looking at being as aggressive as possible to make this campus and the community that we are located in as safe as possible when everything comes back into full tilt in the fall. And our hope is obviously that we are as close to normal as we can be relative to pre-COVID school.
Thank you. Yes, President Erickson.
We certainly, speaking on behalf of the entire administration, appreciate the guidance. We are definitely committed to coming back to you by June 1st. We think that gives us enough time to make sure that we are engaging our full campus community in this discussion. And in fact, I'd already spoke with our current ASNMU president and past, and they've indicated they're here and ready to work with us and have that discussion. Having the student voice in this is really important. But the last thing I would say is that this board has been remarkably helpful throughout the past 14 or 15 months. When we made the decision a year ago, March, that we needed to go to remote learning for the rest of that semester, and then make shifts in how we did that. You know, this board met on a daily basis to help provide guidance and being engaged. And I appreciate the guidance approach with this. It creates the kind of working environment that's really helped us be successful through this. And I see this as the next step in that process. So we look forward to being back to you with a more comprehensive plan. And I deeply appreciate your recognition and understanding of how fluid the situation is. You know, a month ago, we may have had a different discussion than we do today because we're all very concerned about availability of vaccines. We don't have that concern today about availability of vaccines. It's quite a different conversation. And so I thank you. We certainly hear this guidance and take it very seriously. And we look forward to being back to you by June 1st.
Madam Chair.
Yes, yes, Trustee Young.
Thank you. I just want to offer a couple of things in listening to what people were saying. I think on the incentive program, I guess the guidance, at least in my mind, would be if we're going to do a cash incentive, it should be $100. That doesn't preclude the administration from looking at additional incentives like a drawing for dining dollars where you have a winner, or, you know, to incent students to get vaccinated, you know, beyond the $100. And so I would hope that that is not the sole incentive, looks at maybe there's other things, or if it's not, $100, some cash equivalent of that in in other form. I think to me that's important. And then secondly, and legal counsel reminded me, tapped me on the shoulder. I think in terms of, there's a different category here when we're talking about faculty. So we need to make sure that we can offer that and we don't run afoul of any federal or state requirements as it relates to that. So I guess I would leave that open to the administration to come back with us on how we can address the faculty. I think it's the faculty issue. I don't think so much staff, but that would just be the two caveats I would offer, Madam Chair.
Well,
Thank you.
I appreciate that very much. I mean, the rules on what we can offer and can't offer, I mean, these are very fluid right now. And so I appreciate the understanding. We're just going to have to look at what we have and be always ready to pivot as we've been able to do so far.
Yeah, and I think there's not a question necessarily on the student incentive. It's the other categories. So I think the guidance would be that the student incentive there's consensus on that. The other two would have to get some legal advice.
I don't know that, I mean, it's not as though we have, we're just giving guidance at this point and asking administration to come back to us. So when they come back to us, then we would be able to take a look at what our consensus or what our votes might be.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because I did say earlier it would apply to everybody, and I may have gotten a little ahead of the curve, and it may not end up applying to everybody because of those. And I just wanted to clarify that, Madam Chair, in case it gets out.
Thank you. Trustee Mahaney.
Just a couple of comments, if I may, Madam Chair. While I intend to support this, I have some really, I guess, some philosophical based concerns about it. I look at this as almost pretty sad that we have to, if you will, provide a financial inducement for someone to do something that is really for the better good of society and individual responsibility, in my opinion. Students say that they want to be involved in university governance. Well, with that comes a responsibility. And that responsibility is to, do what's in the best interest of their fellow students and the entire university community. I think it's really unfortunate that we have to provide a financial incentive for someone to do what they should see as their individual responsibility for the better good of the society and the local community. I really don't support providing a financial incentive to staff and faculty for receiving the vaccine. The vaccine doesn't cost anybody any money. Our faculty and staff don't have to work here if they don't want to. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask faculty and staff to go and get vaccinated. I realize we don't control that. I realize that there's a lot of legal issues, but I just think it's pretty sad that we have to wrap this into a financial incentive and turn it basically into a bribe for someone to do something that they should just be doing, again, for the better good of the university community and the greater community that we live in. But I will support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Morgan.
Thank you, Chair. Sort of along the lines of Trustee Mahaney, I think we absolutely need to be prepared to require vaccination for at least on-campus housing if we don't reach an acceptable level of vaccinated students to adequately protect public health on campus here and in the community. I think we have a really important tool at our disposal to ensure that everyone is vaccinated here on campus, which we know is the best path to getting things as back to normal as possible. So I just want to stress as strongly as possible that while it is very important that we try everything possible to get voluntary compliance and vaccination, I think that we need to very much take seriously our ability and responsibility to protect students, faculty, staff, and the community this summer or as soon as possible if we don't feel that we can meet that that acceptable level of public safety otherwise. Thank you.
And Trustee Sepinen.
And I just want to reiterate, I know the board is, all the members have addressed this, that we do realize that there are people for health reasons who can't get a vaccine. And we also realize that there are religious issues that could come up for individuals in regards to not taking a vaccine. And that we all recognize that that is there, and we'll let it go at that.
Thank you. I have confidence that the administration will provide us with a report that will have recommendations in it that will take into account all of the legal requirements, as well as the, as you put it, President Erickson, the very fluid state of events with respect to vaccines. Thank you. As long as there is nothing further that anyone would like to add regarding this issue, we can move on to item number 14. Okay, item number 14, I would like to call on President Erickson to make an announcement.
Yes, I announced that an informal closed session of the board will be held in conjunction with the Thursday, Friday, July 22nd and 23rd, 2021 meetings of the board.
Thank you. Agenda item 15 is for the good of the order. And what I'd like to do is to start with Trustee Hart and ask if there's anything that you would like to comment on or provide for the good of the order.
No. Very good meeting. Obviously there's a lot of things happening. And we've had some great discussion over the past few days and even within this meeting. And I just want to, I guess, highlight, you know, the faculty, the administration, the students. It's been such a tumultuous time and year, and for all of us in different ways. And there's been so much done on a micro and macro level within the university community that is just fantastic in terms of doing what we can to ensure that we're in a safe and respectful environment. So thank you to all, and congratulations to our 1,000 students who will be graduating tomorrow.
Thank you. Vice Chair Young.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things quickly. I want to thank the chair and the rest of the board for indulging me on this vaccine issue. I know I was bugging some of you earlier this morning with phone calls. I thought, you know, when's this guy going to go to bed? But anyways, I appreciate the input that we got, because I think when we first started having this discussion, we ended up in a different place, and I think a better place, because of the input that we all had individually, and the chair, you know, allowing that debate to move forward to get us to where we are. And I think it is a good place. And I think we have a very important task at hand to make sure that again, our students are safe, and faculty and staff in this community. And I think we've taken that step today. I would just add one other thing. Yesterday, I had a chance to go see the eSport setup that we have in the basement over at Hardin. And if you didn't attend that, next time we're up here, you should go check it out. It'll blow you away what's going on over there. I remember back, I think it was in 2019 when Forrest brought some of these new varsity sports to us, and that was one of them, was the eSport. And we all were kind of going like, what is this and what's that all about? And I remember I was asked to make the motion, and the board obviously approved it, but it was really cool for me to go over there and see what we did and what happened as a result of that action. And just anecdotally, we watched some of the team playing different games, which was totally beyond my comprehension, and their agility and acuity was absolutely unbelievable. But Forrest was telling me afterwards, he said that, and I hope I don't get these numbers wrong if Forrest is listening, but that they said that they told him that they could take him at his age, and he's not a very old guy like me, but they take him and put him through very intensive training and teaching on how to play this game. They might be able to get him to do 50 to 75 moves, they call it a minute, and that is, you know, moving your guy around. The people we saw, the kids we saw playing this, are doing 500 to 600 moves a minute. That's that's what's going on in terms of how quick they are and how fast they are. Anyways, it was really cool, and I'm glad that we had the chance to do that. And it's great to see that program doing so well. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Mahaney, do you have anything you'd like to add for the good of the order?
Actually, I do. And with apologies for maybe getting a little bit long-winded, but I just want to start by thanking the faculty for all their efforts and their willingness to be flexible and accommodating over the past year. We're at the end of a very challenging, probably arguably the most challenging academic year in the history of this institution. And it looks like we're going to make it across the finish line. So congratulations to everybody involved, not just faculty, staff, administration. It's really been a team-wide effort, and it's been an honor to be a part of it, to play a small role as a trustee. I want to also acknowledge AAUP President Brady's comments this morning. I think that we in this room agree with his broader goals to make Northern the best possible university it can. We all share that goal and that vision. And not to speak for my fellow trustees, but I think I can in this case, that we're all working to get to that point as well. And I look forward to seeing a mutually successful resolution of the contract negotiations that are underway. I want to make a comment in regards to we had two public speakers from the chemistry department. And one of the comments that I heard was in regards to medicinal plant chemistry and the need for additional resources there. I would like to point out to the benefit of the viewing audience, as well as our new onboarding trustees that maybe aren't aware of the history of that program. We have invested over $3 million in the medicinal plant chemistry program in the last several years, and we have plans to invest much more in the upcoming months and years. It might be the leading department for new investment in recent years on campus. I'm not sure of that, but I wouldn't bet against it. Which leads me to another comment. During this past year, again, going back to this being the most challenging year, perhaps in the history of this institution, I think we need to acknowledge all the financial challenges that we faced, and to give credit where credit is due, and that is, the finance team under Vice President Leach's leadership that navigated us through these challenges. At one point in time last year, I remember we got the memo, so to speak, to be ready for a 20% cut in our state funding, and that the monies that were already approved by the legislature for the prior fiscal year were going to be frozen. So my point is that between the rising costs, the cost of the pandemic, the operational challenges, all the additional expenses that we've had to incur, and to come out of it in relatively strong financial health is quite an achievement that shouldn't go unnoticed. So thank you for all that the administration did during that time. I have to take a moment to talk about Sten Feldheim. I don't know how many of you know Sten, but I've known Sten for over 40 years. Sten put Northern on the map, not just nationally, but internationally in the Nordic ski world. Sten's influence in cross-country skiing and in the United States is probably larger than I would say anyone else in the history of Nordic skiing in this country. If in the NCAAs, imagine if the NCAAs had national championships where they didn't have a national champion in football and a national champion in basketball, but you had one national champion and it was your basketball and football teams' combined results. People would scream and say, what silly logic. Well, that's what the NCAA does in skiing. They say that there's one national champion and it's your cross-country ski team's results and it's your alpine ski team results. We don't have an alpine ski team until now. So whenever we went to national championships, we could never be the national champion. But if they would have tracked cross-country ski national championships, I'm pretty confident saying Northern would have been by far. We would have to have a second room for the trophies. And not only did Sten create national team champions, he created individual champions and All-Americans. And he did it using American kids, when a lot of the other powerhouses in Nordic skiing, Denver, Colorado College, et cetera, were using Euros, as they're called. They take go and recruit the top skiers from Scandinavia, et cetera. Sten did it with homegrown talent. Sten was a coach coached the U.S. national ski team for several years and then came back to Northern. His impact has been phenomenal, and probably his greatest achievement is the success that his student athletes had in life. Many of them are my friends. I've seen them in their careers. Just incredible compilation of success, both professionally and as citizens. So I just wanted to acknowledge Sten for all he's done for the university. And then lastly, I also was very sad to receive, it was sad to receive the announcement of Provost Schilling's retirement. I realize that her retirement date isn't until the end of the year, but Provost Schilling's leadership and vision has been just instrumental in all the success that we've had over the past few years, especially with our academic programming. And I'm sure that we will celebrate her achievements at a future date, but I wanted to say thank you here and now for all you've done. Don't retire early. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Morgan?
Thank you, Chair. I do have a couple of comments, just as my first meeting here. Really just to say what an honor it is and a privilege to be on this board. NMU has given so much to me personally as a kid who grew up in the middle of nowhere in Pinconning, Michigan, and came to Marquette because it was a big city to me. This university is not just part of my life or any of the lives of our students for a few years. It shapes entire lifetimes and gives people the opportunity to succeed that I don't think you can find anywhere else. At least I certainly wouldn't have found that anywhere else. This university really is so much more than just the buildings or the grounds or the campus. As I felt just in the last couple of days being back up here, it's about the people, it's about the culture, it's about being a place that just says you are welcome here, you are home. And as we've talked about everything being so virtual, from orientations to campus visits, the thing that you can never capture virtually is the culture here at Northern, the culture in the city of Marquette, and the feel of being here on campus with so many amazing people. There's just a warmth that I have not felt on any other university campus. And I think that's the thing that makes this place special. And it feels even more special being on this side of the table. I remember being where Bethany and Emma were earlier today, speaking to this board as ASNMU president, and how scary that felt. To be talking with the folks who are making decisions and setting policy for how this place runs, working with the administration. It was such a scary experience, but it was scary because I knew people were listening. And I think that's one of the things that we can continue to do as a board is to listen to our students. And I was really happy to hear the president say, let's ask the students about this or that, or we've worked with ASNMU on this, or we've talked to the students about this other priority that we're looking at. I think that is incredibly important. And the last couple of things I want to talk about is that it's more than just the folks that we see in this room or the few days that we have to interact with people up here as board members, but it's the faculty who make such an incredible impact in students' lives. I still keep in touch with several faculty up here over 10 years now since I graduated from the political science department and throughout campus, who were not just faculty, but they formed friendships and longtime relationships with students to encourage them, to support them. They want to know how you're doing years after you graduate. And again, that is something that is special and unique about Northern that I think we want to continue to encourage and foster here as the board. And then one of the really most impactful people for me, among many others, was a custodian on staff. As student body president, as many people know, I was very active and I put in a lot of hours as student body president. I would have a lot of late nights downstairs in the NMU office. And there was a custodian named Karen who would come through every night. I was there almost every night. And we would just talk about how her family was doing. She was a single mother. And I remember one day she came in and she said, after years of saving, we're finally buying a house. My daughter can have her own bedroom. We have a place that I can be proud of to live in. And those are the kind of people that are also a part of this campus, the folks who are here serving our students and all of us when everyone else leaves for the night, who are just doing incredibly important work. And so I think it's good that we've had some conversations around salaries and compensation and those kind of things, because we want to make sure that we are a place that can give people a quality of life and that respects our employees in a way that really makes sure that everyone can be proud to be here. So with all of that said, just thank you all. I look forward to serving with you. It means so much to me to be part of this board and to be part of this campus again. And I'm just really honored to be here. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We're very glad to have you. Trustee Sepinen.
Yes, thank you. I'm the other new board member, much older than Jason though. Also an alumni of Northern Michigan University, probably going back farther than you were born. But I have to say, I'm really proud to be on this board, especially the action that was just taken here in the last hour. I live in the community, and I have to say that the staff, the students, faculty, the leadership that's been shown in regards to how to deal with this pandemic that we all find ourselves in, which is one of the greatest threats that we've had in the last 70 years, it's been really, really an eye-opener. The aggressive nature that we're taking right now under the leadership that was shown by Trustee Young, it really makes me feel proud to be part of this board. And I am very happy that as a member of this community, to look over at Northern and see them as one of the more responsible institutions in the area, and taking this lead in trying to make sure that we all, the campus and the community, stay safe. And I say thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Murray Brown.
Sure, thank you. Lots of things have already been said. So to spare redundancy on my part, I do want to say thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for what I think has been a compelling few days of discussion that I personally really appreciated. And like Trustee Sapinen, I really feel proud to be a part of this board for the reasons that have been demonstrated over the last few days even. I also want to say welcome to Trustee Sapinen and welcome to Trustee Morgan. Just to say this is your first meeting, I can imagine, and I'm so glad not to be the newest person on the block now. And I thank you for being here. Your presence has been profound, and I really appreciate that as well. I also want to say that over this last year, it has been, as someone said, a tumultuous year. But what it's done for me is that it has provided me with extreme confidence in the students, and the staff and the faculty and administration. I know how you address public health concerns. I've seen it firsthand. So I have that confidence because I know what we've done together. And so I feel really hopeful and that our leadership at Northern is going to be demonstrated not only by the actions that we've taken over the last year, but what it's going to yield in the future. So I believe that we will have a campus and that in a community that we sit in, that'll be ultimately more safe than any probably in the state of Michigan. And that will demonstrate our leadership by the actions that we take every single day. And that is a collective. That's not just any one of those groups. It's everyone working together. I've seen it over this last year. Also, like Trustee Hart, I want to say congratulations to the 900 who are going to experience commencement tomorrow. I know how wonderful that is as a recent graduate myself. That's going to be exhilarating even under these circumstances. And I know when they see their names and that we work towards really making sure that everyone feels special, then I'm lifting them up in my thoughts and my prayers, because tomorrow's going to be an exhilarating day for them. And I also want to say, when I also heard about the retirement or the departure of Provost Schuling, I still haven't wrapped my mind around it. I haven't, I really haven't accepted that. I'll just speak to you directly. I haven't yet. I know it's coming, but until then, I also want to say thank you. You from the very beginning during my orientation is a person that I remember probably the most for some reason. And it just was your passion and your dedication to excellence that really helped me see firsthand what the experience can be at Northern. So I'm really grateful to have been in your presence alone to absorb all of that as well as part of my orientation. And I think that's everything in my notes that I have. So thank you again for the time. This has been a compelling few days and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Thank you. Trustee Fatante.
I know we're running a little late, so I'll just keep it short as usual. I just want to say that I'm so happy to be back on campus for our meetings. Yesterday, I was able to go down to the bookstore, buy some swag, go to the pub, have a drink, walk over to Hardin Hall to watch the esports. And I so agree with Trustee Young. You got to either watch it, whether they stream it or, be a part of the audience to watch this. It's really interesting. And I really enjoyed that. I want to say I also appreciate the response to this COVID pandemic this last year plus. And I think we're going in the right direction and to somehow get back to a sense of normalcy. And also want to welcome, Greg, this is your first meeting here. I know we've been working together, longer than we have with Jason, and welcome back to Jason. Happy to have you. I'm glad to have a board of eight different opinions, 8 different minds. And I look forward to the next, what would I have, 4 years, but with next meetings with you guys.
Thank you. So I get to wrap this one up, and I appreciate that so many of you have already thanked the people who you have and said the things you have, because I've been able to mark these off on my list. What I would like to do is to congratulate the graduates and the other students and the faculty, staff, and administration on a year well done. We've had many outstanding students awarded, a myriad of competition winners. It really has been a remarkable year in a very difficult time. Thank you to the administration, to the audiovisual department. Thank you so much for your work in getting this meeting made public and being able to be viewed by people. Thank you to hospitality for providing the services that they have and making us so comfortable here on campus, socially distanced, able to take care of all of our needs. It's been terrific. I do want to echo Trustee Mahaney's compliment of Dr. Brady. I appreciated very much his expression of the common ground that we share. And when he said those words, it made me think of the fact that that's really what we're doing here. We're finding common ground among faculty, administration, the board. That's what we seek, and hopefully that's what we accomplish here. And I'm hoping that we can continue on that vein. Thank you also, Provost Schuling. You have done a remarkable job, and your level of energy caused me to be greatly surprised when someone said that you were retiring and you had reached retirement age, because I think of you as far younger than me in your amount of energy that you have. So thank you. I really appreciate it. You model for all of us how we should really keep going and give it 110%, 100% of the time. That's the Bill Dignites from the Department of Theater. So thank you all. At this time, I would like to adjourn this formal session of the Northern Michigan University Board of Trustees.